Hey guys, I am John Carrick, the author of Legacy of a Mad Scientist and The Legend of Ashley Fox. Two amazing fiction novels for sale for you guys right now on Amazon.com. You can pick them up, have them at home, paperbacks. The ebooks are also available if you want to read them, or you can listen right here on YouTube. And we are here for the fiction. That's what this channel is about. This channel is about fiction. Fiction evaluation, my favorite science fiction fantasy stories and characters. And today we are doing Conan Classic. I think this is classic number, what is that, 6? This is also Conan the Barbarian. This is basically a reprint of Conan the Barbarian number 6, Devil Wings over Shadizar. I actually looked it up because I wanted to make sure that I had the right one. I have numbers 3, 4, and 8. I don't have 6. This is the story where Conan meets Jenna. And this one had this subscription thing in it. And so while I was reading it, the cover came off. But this is that high quality newsprint comic book that Marvel delivered in the 70s. And we're going to look at it without the cover. The story's still good. The ice cream tastes just as good in a bowl. But you know what? I am going to use this so the light doesn't shine through this very thin newsprint. And this story is Conan. He comes upon two rogues in the middle of the night in Shadizar, and Conan has the high ground. And these guys are discussing about the robbery of a local goldsmith. They got a cup, a dagger, and a candlestick, and they're trying to figure out how to split up the loot. The skinny guy says, "It's not fair me just getting the cup and you get the dagger and the candlestick." The big red-headed dude says, "Well, I killed him." Or actually the red-headed guy says, "I subdued him." And the skinny guy says, "Yeah, but I stabbed him, so I killed him. We should figure out how to split this." And I think it's the skinny guy who says it's a lot easier to split 3 pieces of gold one way than 2. And he attacks. And that's when actually Conan jumps down in the middle of their conversation. So he doesn't even actually give the other guy a chance to attack his friend, does he? He wastes no time. Conan defeats both of these guys. He stabs the skinny one and knocks out the big guy. I think that's what happened. No. Actually, look what happens. The skinny guy is trying to kill Conan and stabs the big guy. And Conan mule kicks the skinny guy and knocks him out. He doesn't even take his sword, which I thought was kind of stupid because at this point Conan actually doesn't have a sword. He has a coin pouch, he has his own coins, and now he has all this money. And what does he do like any, 16-year-old, 17-year-old? He goes to find a bar. Why not? And at the bar, he meets Jenna. Jenna is a very pretty blonde girl who knows Shadizar rather well. She has friends everywhere. And when Conan, this comic is a little slippery. Conan gets into a fight with a couple smartasses. Oh my god, the cover is now splitting down the spine. And in a minute, it's going to completely be in 2 halves. As a matter of fact, so what's happening here is inside the bar, a black dude and his friend are having a fight, a wrestling match. They're, taking it too far. They're bumping into people. And Conan calls them names and pushes them away. He calls the guy a Cushite, which I suppose is the equivalent of a end tower. Or, I've said that word before here on this channel. I don't know why I'm hesitating right now. Maybe it's because I got kicked off Twitter this week for going too hard at the Zionists. I think I'm going to go to Blue Sky and just torment them directly. Anyhow, Conan gets knocked out, and he's pissed. And if we're going to fight, let's fight. And so they agree that maybe we were going at it too hard. And the girl, Jenna, picks up Conan's bag with the gold in it while he puts his helmet back on. So outside, she asks him, what's in the bag? This is gold. Is this the gold from the robbery that happened earlier? I know all about that robbery. You know what? You better come with me. I know someone you should see. And she takes him to her uncle, quote unquote uncle, a blacksmith, to melt the gold down into a single piece so that he can, not worry about being called out as a murderer. She doesn't even care. He tries to explain to her that he didn't do it, and she is not interested. She's just as happy if he did. And once her uncle melts it down, look at how fast. In one page, he meets her uncle, he melts it down into a golden heart, and they carry it off, and Conan pays him 5 gold pieces for doing this. Money Conan already had. And so they're out making out in a little oasis just outside of town in the sands because it's a warm desert night. And she asks him to take his helmet off. And when he does, these red-robed guys attack them. They are not her friends. My first thought was, okay, so I've read number 8, right? I know that Jenna is like the girl in Whiskey in a Jar who betrays Conan, eventually to the sheriff, at one point to the city guards. So I wasn't trusting her at all. And I thought these guys were friends of her uncle, but they're not. They leave the heart and they take her. Conan wakes up and he's still got the gold, but she's gone, and he's got a big old knot on his head because they had to hit him twice. That's one thing that Roy Thomas did not write into the captions that he should have, because Barry Windsor Smith gave him a perfect opportunity. Conan doesn't put the helmet on again because he's got a big old knot on the back of his head and it hurts. He keeps it with him. I don't think they show it in his hands, but he definitely has it. And here he's sneaking. He finds out where these red-robed guys are. He goes back to Jenna's uncle. Her uncle explains, look, she's not really my niece. She's just a common girl, and I like her, so I play along. But if she's been kidnapped, I'll help you. And Conan says it was these guys in the red robes. And he says, oh, forget her, man. She's dead. And that's when he says, you're her uncle. And he says, look, she's a nice girl, and I like her and everything, but she's not related to me, and I'm not going after those red-robed priests. If you want to, you're welcome to. And he says, well, show me where they are. And he shows him this minaret with the top all opened up. And Conan does not hesitate. Does not hesitate. He finds this guy on the steps who's a little bit late, knocks him out, steals his outfit, which is just like right out of the movie with Dulce Doom. This part, moving forward, this is why I love this one so much. This is the story I'm working on right now. Keep Hope Alive, my story, the upcoming chapter, Keep Hope Alive, is about a kidnapped child and 12 kidnapped girls about to be sacrificed to demons, and the rescue mission that is underway to save them. And that's what's happening here. This girl, Jenna, is about to be sacrificed to a demon by this hot girl down here, the girl with the pigtails, the brunette. She's in charge of all these red-robed priests. And Conan is sneaking by all these guys on the way in, and they're like, dude, you're late. They're starting without you. You better hurry up. That's literally what they're saying to him as he goes by, which is a nice touch. And then he sees that it's Jenna in there, and then the priestess turns the lights out. And so Conan's like, what's happening? He's trying to sneeze. Here's another thing they don't say. So they don't say that he doesn't wear his helmet because his head hurts, because he got hit twice by a metal rod. And then they don't say that he's sneaking closer to the altar while the light's out, but he is. He's pushing his way up to the altar, and the priests stop him. That's why they grab him. They don't grab him out of the blue. They grab him because he's like bum rushing the stage, right? And then he manages to he opens the brazier. The brazier is like a lantern, that's the fire or whatever. The lantern the top had been covered. And he opens it and grabs it. And he's now holding this, basically this heavy iron torch with fire inside it that is not going to be extinguished. It's locked in a little thing, like the Catholics have those for swinging the incense. So the coals are down in there, and then the oil's leaked out onto them, and that's what keeps it burning. And Conan's got a hold of it against this giant bat that is going to carry off Jenna. He seems none too pleased about it. I hope I'm in the center of the camera. I hate to have to do this again, but worse things have happened. Anyhow, so the fight starts. Conan grabs the priestess and the brazier. I don't know how he's able to do this. The bat has Jenna in its claws, and Conan gets on the bat's back with the girl and the brazier as a sword, as a weapon. And, he's got those two things. He's got the brazier and the girl. How can he hold both of those and hold on to the bat? I don't know, but he does. And she gets in a fight with him, and how soon does he crash land the bat? It seems to happen pretty quick here. No, they're flying around for a while. He gets in a fight with the redhead. She knocks him off the back of the bat, so he's like hanging on to the bat's neck by his legs, smashing it in the face with the brazier. Or maybe he's let go of her now and she's holding on for dear life on her own, because she certainly wouldn't jump off at this point. And so now, he's got the brazier and he's fighting the bat with it, and they crash land back in the sands right by the oasis where all of this kind of started. Because it's convenient and sands are soft. And here the queen is ready to kill Conan. She's pissed. But Jenna gets her first. Jenna stabs her in the back. What does Jenna kill her with? I think she's got some kind of dagger or knife. But right as this priestess is about to kill Conan, Jenna gets her. And then Jenna tells Conan, just relax, rest, sleep, golden dreams, golden dreams. And Nabisco ad for Iron Man lunchbox. It's kind of cool lunchbox, right? That's one thing the comics are awesome for, is the merch. I drew 2 pages. I've got one of them really, the faces are thumbnail, the other one's just thumbnail. I don't know if I'll show it to you guys or not. Anyhow, Conan wakes up in the morning, the gold is gone, Jenna's gone, Shadizar, now he knows what they call it, Shadizar the Wicked, and he decides he's just gonna push on. There's nothing for him here. There's nothing to be gained by fucking around with these people. They're all insane. There's not a good person there. I think that's one of those stories in the Bible. Here we get a pin-up by Barry Smith, like just a sketch that he inked, and someone threw a pink, or maybe he did it on pink paper. An ad. And I'm gonna wait to show you guys what I'm working on. My 2 pages. It is a what do you call it? An adaptation of the song Norwegian Wood by the Beatles. And 2 girls meet each other at a girl bar. One of them has a spiked haircut like comic book girl 19. Her name is Cinder. And she seduces this other girl and she takes her home, and she's actually a vampire. And so the ending bit where she says, she told me she had to work in the morning and started to laugh. And I said I didn't, and crawled on to sleep in the bath. So that's when the vampire goes to sleep in the bathtub. And in the morning she wakes up and this bird had flown. Then when I awoke, I was alone. This bird had flown. And that meant the girl got up to go to work. But in this story, and when I was a kid and I heard this, I didn't know what it meant. But in this story, the girl's dead. And the vampire sees it. And so she lit a fire, isn't it good, Norwegian wood. And this girl lives in one of those sloped sort of Viking mountain chalets kind of thing. And the girl burns her house down. Cinder burns her house down to cover up for the murder. Today's conflicted card, number 2, is the 7 of Spades. And this one says that members of your group are kidnapped by a heavily armed group of men, and you don't know how many of them there are. They're demanding half of your food, and I suppose they'd make you show it to them, and then they would choose which half to take. In which case, if you show them half of your food, if you show them all of your food and they're going to take half, I promise you they will take all of it. If you show them half of your food and say, this is everything we have, they will take all of it. And that's what you should probably do. And then you have to rescue the food. Because if they do release the other people of your group, which they probably won't, they'll probably murder them. When you meet them to turn over the food, you have to either kill all of them and get information from them about how many they are. This is war. This is an act of war. You should basically write off everyone in your group as dead, and you just revenge and justice, and the devil takes the hindmost. Whoever remains of these two groups after the battle can be a new group. That's essentially what you've got. That's the situation you're in. They're pirates. Pirates don't care who leads them. Anyone's a good leader as long as you're fair with the spoils. The pirate law is the most honest law in the world. All modern law is set around pirate law. I do need to start talking more about the things I want to talk about and the reason I'm out here and what my theories about fiction are and what good fiction is. I suppose I should take this giant-sized Conan out of the plastic. I'm going to have it out here. My theories about good fiction are right there, pirate law. You know what I mean? Everyone gets a fair share except the captain who gets 2. Anyone can be a captain for their own raid. If you play in the raid, you get 2 shares, everyone else gets 1. That doesn't mean you get half of everything. No, it means you split if there's 5 of you, you split it up into 6 pieces. You get 2 and everyone else gets 1. And that's fair. That's always been fair. That's always been fair. What we have today in our culture, we have a crisis of legitimacy in our culture today. That is the main problem in the world today, is a crisis of legitimacy. There is no legitimate authority. Anyone working in the mainstream, anything is suspect, at the very least, corrupt, utterly corrupt at the most. So my being a self-published author is a brand of legitimacy, is a brand of authenticity. I promise you, this is my whole life. This is everything I'm most proud of. And I did another chapter last night, a great chapter. It was only like 800 words, but that puts me at like 101,800 words, 800 something. It's like 816, I don't know. But I did these 2 pages. I want to get them a little bit more finished. I was watching Bart Sears and David Finch the other day, and I've adopted some new steps to my drawing process, which is, I think, really going to help. These 2 pages are awesome. It was 1 page. I have done this before as a single page. I don't know where it is. I'm realizing now it must be 8.5 by 11, but I'm realizing now it must be 11 by 17 because I've looked through all my 8.5 by 11 and I cannot find it anywhere. So maybe I originally did it at 11 by 17, but now I've worked it into 2 pages. I don't know how I fit it in 1. I think I must have cheated some of the words of the song. But this time I wrote it out next to me, and each panel gets like a phrase, a verse of the song, if you will. So, yeah, I'm super happy. I'm super happy, and the only thing it cost me was everything. I've sacrificed everything to be where I am and who I am right now, and I couldn't be happier. Every choice was worth it. There's some diversions I've had on my path, mistakes, but they only reinforce that right now I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing even more. Because every time I step away from fiction, from comics, from writing novels, I feel miserable. I tried to do real estate photography with drones, and it was worse than selling my comic book collection. And okay, now here's why. Real estate people tend to be relatively desperate, and when you're working with someone, they say you are who you surround yourself with, and if you surround yourself with desperate people, it rubs off on you. Everything's an emergency, but there are no emergencies in real estate. Come on. Sales does that to people. Sales is everything is an emergency. If you're not selling, you're losing. But you know what? So this past weekend, I had a really good couple days where I wrote 5,000 words in like 24 hours. But I had to spend like the next day sleeping. I did nothing. I did some chores around the house and I slept and I recorded one of these. But, and so yesterday worked out, got these 2 pages drawn, wrote a new chapter. Today I spent a couple hours working on the pages. I maneuvered everything, or I rearranged the furniture in my place so that I get natural light on the drawing board, right? It had been next to the window. You guys, I gotta tell you something. This is really kind of fucking awesome. I am renting a 2-bedroom place in the Valley, San Fernando Valley in Los Angeles. And it is almost identical to the split-level ranch where I grew up, if it's just the top floor. I don't have the bottom floor, but I come upstairs to a living room with a fireplace on the north wall, just like the home where I grew up. The windows face west. The other windows face east. The kitchen windows face east, just like they did when I was a kid. The kitchen sink is right where it was when I was a child. The kitchen, now there's no dining room, but there is a doorway right where the dining room would be that opens onto what would have been the back porch and stairs that go down, just like when I was a kid, except there was a deck and we had our own backyard. And then you get the hallway with 2 bedrooms. My parents' home had 3, but the bathroom is in the exact same place. My bedroom is kind of a combination of what would have been the girls' room and my brother's room. And then the room where I had my recording studio would have been like my parents' master bedroom. It is the most surreal fucking thing. And I lived here for probably 7 or 8 years before I even recognized the fact that I had moved into a miniature version of my childhood home. And it's kind of fucking awesome. I draw comics all day. I write. I fucking watch movies here. It's a triplex, which means it's attached to 2 other people who live here, other units. But I would be very hard pressed to find a replacement for this place. Like, I've done some of my best work here. Now, I do my best work everywhere I go, which is not untrue. In animation school, I did a lot of drawing on the bus. You have to develop a very light touch to draw on the bus. I wrote a lot on the bus. If you're doing your best work, it doesn't matter where you are. And really, creative work, like going skating, working out, my recovery has gotten slower over the years because I have gotten older. But that does not deliver the way writing a new chapter for a Tolkien-level epic. It feels so good. Everything that comes after this is going to be downhill. I've been working toward this story for about 4 years, and that's why in 4 months I've been pretty much been able to write the whole thing, because I've been writing pieces of it on and off. There's a whole bunch of bits of this with other characters that will be like sort of spin-offs that are already written, that might not be included in this novel, that are only getting mentioned in the scenes right now. Full scenes that I've written a couple years ago. So I'm really, anything you set your mind to, you can achieve. Just stick to it. The obstacle is the way. Whatever obstacle there is, now, this is an important thing. Decide whether or not the obstacle in front of you is one that you need to attack right now. Sometimes in your journey, whatever you want to fucking call it, your creative growth process, you have to tackle different challenges at different times to get to where you want to go. My destination is a free racing game that doubles as an online arcade/casino where I can promote comics and fiction and novels and merch and other brands. That's ultimately my goal, is to promote other brands, to create a place where I can promote other people's work. Not ArtStation, I don't want to do DeviantArt. I want to do Dave and Buster's for all the cool shit that I like. Kind of. You know, I happen to have this racing game for the hoverboard in my novels, but the racing game is to sell the novels. The novels are a Tolkien level experience. And if I wait until I'm dead and count on someone like Peter Jackson to come along and find it, there's always the chance it could go the way so many other creators' things have gone and just never be found. Or never be, like, look at Elric. Elric has not gotten the treatment I feel he deserves. But, you know what like every creator is pushing the same rock up the same hill, right? We don't all get to do Game of Thrones. To each in their own time. So, I really, I have my third book almost done, and I've heard this said before, like, he's only got one novel in him. Oh, that guy, he seemed like he only had 2 novels in him. Writers talk about each other that way. People criticize each other in different ways. Your boy Zach, he's obsessed with how old people are. Every time he mentions anyone in a negative light, it's always middle-aged this, late 20s that, early 50s this. If you're in your mid-40s, you shouldn't do blah, blah, blah. Dude, that's your filter. That's how you see the fucking world, man. I don't know what to tell you. So, my filter is your fiction any good? Is your fiction good? If it is, let's talk. Let's find a way to work together. I want to read more of it. What do you got coming out? What are you working on right now? I want to know. Like I said, I got kicked off Twitter a couple days ago, so I'm gonna have to find some other way. I think I need a new phone and a new email address to get back on. So it might be a little bit, but we'll see. It's not on the top of my list of fucking necessary things. So yeah, all right. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.